Start with, from representing the administration's point of view and the Louisiana Department of Revenue, Assistant Secretary Jason Decuir. Please welcome Jason.
You know, when we look at tax reform, Louisiana has one of the lowest tax burdens in the country. It's the 4th lowest. However, our tax structure is one of the most complicated in the country. It's 32nd. And you ask why? Why do we have such a complicated tax structure, and what's the need for doing this? If you look at Title 47, you can see how thick it is, which are tax laws. And if you look at our tax exemption budget book with 468 exemptions in it, you've got to navigate those two big books in order to get to a low tax burden. Why is this important? Well, because the complexity of our structure prevents us from attracting individuals, small businesses, entrepreneurs, and corporations to our state. When they look at the low burden, they also realize they've got to navigate through 4 or 5 rates on the corporate income tax side, 3 rates on the personal income tax side, myriad by hundreds of exemptions. And so what's happening is our individuals, our small businesses, our corporations are spending more time navigating through our complex tax laws, the 468 exemptions, and whether or not they're applicable to them, than spending time growing their businesses, spending time with their families, and spending time trying to encourage development with their respective business. So we need to start over. We need to build a more simple structure. If you look at some of our neighbors in the region, Florida, Texas, their structure ranks them in the top 10. Our structure is 32nd. Their tax burden is also low like ours, but their structure is one that mimics more of their tax burden. I'm from Baton Rouge. I'm from Louisiana. I've traveled across the country for schooling and other ventures, but as I've come back, I realize that I've lost friends, I've lost individuals, I've been a part of representing small businesses that have moved to Texas, that have moved to Florida, because when they look at starting a business, they look at the complexity. One of the factors they look at is the complexity of the tax structure. And so by changing the tax structure, we feel that we can now begin to be a competitor, not just regionally, but nationally. In fact, with our proposed plan, our tax structure looks like we would move from our 32nd ranking to that in the top 4. That would only put us behind South Carolina, Wyoming, and Alaska. Not only would we be competitive regionally, but we would be competitive nationally. So our plan is going to be to eliminate the personal income tax, eliminate corporate income taxes, and expand the base in the sales tax arena to that of more services. Many of you know this. We have more of a service-based economy. The taxation on tangible personal property and goods is becoming less of the base, and services is more the economy we live in, and we feel that we need to build a structure now that reflects the economy that we live in. Also, by doing this, we know that there are some things that are important to retain, particularly for individuals in the lower income ranges. We're going to continue to protect and exempt food for home consumption, prescription drugs, and residential utilities. And by continuing to exempt those items, we will be building obviously more progressive elements to our sales tax structure. Furthermore, the studies will show that the state's sales tax revenue has been the most stable source of revenue for our state. This will lead to better predictability, better budgeting, better forecasting purposes for the decisions that we need to make at the state level. The income taxes have been a much more volatile base. So this plan obviously is to resolve a lot of the complexity and simplicity, put some simplicity into our structure, and we feel that it will continue to help grow and foster more jobs, a better economy, to not just make Louisiana competitive regionally, but to make Louisiana competitive nationally and globally. Thank you.